It's,
Yes.
I'm just, I'm kind of, and waiting since March. Put a down payment in on Toyotas, Sequoia. It came in on the third.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'll ask for approval of the minutes from our meeting of October 18th. Brett, seconded. Jay, thank you. Any additional comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we, Rachel, have anyone signed up to speak? All right, we'll move on to the local labor monitoring report. Kevin is here.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I've got the October monthly report. Covers our visits between October 1st and October 31st. During this period, we made 65 monthly site visits. We made 4 follow-up visits during this period, checked with residency with 494 workers. We had 8 issues of non-compliance. All of those were no proof of residence over 5 different projects. USRA Manitow current overall was 72.7 at the time of this monthly reporting. As of October 31st, 2022, all monitored sites were in compliance at the time of our visits. We had 4 new Comita signs delivered to Whitney Housing 1 LLC, Magna Real Property 2, Victory Express Inc., and Keeler Park Community Partners LP.
Okay, any questions?
Aye.
Troy.
Yes, sir.
Kevin, in reference to the Manitow project, I know that that had a badging system.
That's correct.
That badging system, to my understanding, has been removed, and there isn't no way. How are we getting our data to come up with this percentage?
So that badging system is still in use, strictly for latent scope of work. I was just actually at the project before I came to this meeting to verify that project is still in place. They have about 21 people that are on latent scope, which is the side of things that I'm actually auditing on that particular project. So everyone still has to go through a badging system there, except of course for anyone working directly from Amazon. They are not taking place or taking part, if I should say, in that badging system. Just Layton's workers, which is about 21 people as of today anyways.
Layton's employees?
No, the workers under Layton. So today there was JW Danforth, O'Connell Electric, Kane Communications, and Rochester Davis Fetch.
So I have members that work for JW Danforth, and they've reported to me they haven't been badging in for months.
Huh.
So I was just wondering, when I see the number starting to fluctuate on the percentage, how we're gathering our data, and if it's coming, who is it coming from, and without that badging system in place, it's very difficult. I appreciate you going out there. but-
Yeah, and they showed me today on the badging system itself, the employees that had signed in, so I know that they were signed in for today. I'm not sure if those particular Danforth employees are maybe working under the Amazon side of things with their workforce, or if they are in fact working under latent scope. I'm not certain of that. Perhaps that's,
Well, originally, when we badged in, it was one entrance, one exit. Now, I know from a fact, and I brought it up to the trades, we're going in on every entrance. If wherever we're working, they're using multiple entrance. So I'm still challenging how you badge in if there's more than one point of entry and one point of exit.
well, everyone's parking on the west parking lot that faces Manitow Road, and then you enter through, there's like a blue main entry that's all the workers are supposed to enter through. That's where I try to get into, but even then, there is still security guy at that main desk as people come in, and I wasn't able to just access the building. I had to call my contact with Layton to actually get in to the facility. I don't know if the Amazon workers are using another entrance. I guess there is another secondary entrance, I believe on the north side of the building, or excuse me, south side of the building. But again, I'm not tracking who they have. There's about 75 today Amazon workers that were there doing their scope of work, because I walked all 5 floors.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I have right to visit the site. I have members over on that site. I went in on the east side of the building by the loading docks on the east side. Nobody questioned me being there. Met with my people, walked 3 floors, got in my truck and left. So
When was
this,
that?
when?
Yeah.
This was 3 weeks ago. Now, and I know that there's vehicles all over every part of that property over there. I'm not gonna delay. This is very confusing to understand how this number can fluctuate and who is giving us the data. I know you can't be there every day, Kevin. I know that it's a huge facility. But I just wanna question. Yes, has there been a corrective action plan since our conversation a couple weeks ago? But I appreciate what you're doing over there, Kevin.
We did also have staff just visit the site the other day as well, and had a difficult time getting, I don't know how you were able to get inside the facility without.
Dressed like a
notifying
construction
anyone.
worker.
No choice here.
Yeah, just dress with a hard hat and put a high-vis vest on, and you're gonna be able to get.
And, you know, generally when I go there to visit that site too, I will schedule my visit with Zach Doubleday from Layton, in order to get that access
Okay.
from him. But like when we tried to go yesterday, they gave us a hard time about being there. They said they needed to speak to the people from Amazon in order to let us into the facility. So it ended up being problematic where I had to go back today to actually gain the access to the building unless it's not already predetermined, you know?
Thanks, Kevin.
Any other
Okay, any other
questions?
questions for Kevin? All right, thank you.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Anna is going to give the local labor
I
exemptions
understand,
report.
Joe, thank you. Bye-bye. No problem. Bye. So that was Joe Alaco. He is unable to be at the board meeting today, so
We
we
still have a quorum.
extend our
Yeah, we're good.
apologies,
We're
but
good.
we still have a quorum. Yes.
Okay, local labor exemptions.
Yes, the following verified local labor exemption requests were processed by Brian LaFountain at the Bonadio Group in October. Brian unfortunately can't be with us today. The first is for Pike Conductor Dev One LLC. This is the warehouse lot project tied to the larger Li-Cycle North American Hub project. This exemption is related to the installation of the proprietary concrete floor system at the project site in Rochester. The exempted contractor is Twin Tech USA. The exemption was based on the warranty issues related to installation of specialized equipment criteria. The second verified local labor exemption request is for Li-Cycle North American Hub, as is the third. One exemption is related to the construction of approximately 780 feet of new railroad track and maintenance of the existing railroad infrastructure at the project site in Rochester, in the town of Greece. The exempted contractor is Tartaglia Railroad Services. The exemption was based on the specialized construction, no local labor available criteria. The Li-Cycle North American Hub project site was also, a waiver, an exemption request was processed for the same site related to the concrete foundation and excavation work for area 2110 and 2150 at the project site in Rochester. The exempted contractor is Baker Power and Process. The exemption was based on significant cost differentials in bids whereby use of local labor significantly increases the cost of the project criteria.
Okay, are there questions?
Not so much a question, but for the minutes, I wasn't included in these waivers this go-round. I didn't get notified of any of these three waivers. I'm addressing it on Thursday, obviously spilled milk, and I'm trying to put it back in the glass, and it's not gonna happen. I did reach out to Brian, understanding that the Pike conductor, that was something that was awarded prior to January of 2022. That's why there's no warranty for the apprentice language. Okay. The second one, this would have been something I would have been able to reach out. I know CP Ward, and I'm confused inside of Kodak why we wouldn't have had anybody locally to lay the 780 feet of railroad track. But I wasn't given the opportunity to pick up the phone and make the call. Obviously, it's considered specialized construction. I'm sure there would be somebody here that would join that crew. And the third one I brought up to the board's attention. I don't understand how a local contractor can be 60% higher than an out-of-state contractor. We've had questions about Li-Cycle and how we're bidding Li-Cycle. Are we actually bidding apples to apples with Li-Cycle? When I see a 60% delta in bid cost and only one of our local people bidding it, a flag's gonna go up, and I would have gotten involved to pick up the phone to see what else was going on there. But I do have concerns with these waivers, and I just asked, and I'll communicate with Brian again to include me on these waivers. I didn't know anything about this until last Thursday when I reviewed the packet.
Is there a policy that everything has to go before Troy?
No, we don't have a
I
written
didn't think so.
policy.
So I think we can take a look at that.
From the beginning, Li-Cycle has had robust communication with our local labor community, and particularly with Grant Malone and with Joe Morelli Jr. from Unicon. So there's been broad communication. All of the bids are going up on the Builders Exchange Plan Room. So the way that staff and Bonadio are handling the project, this project in particular, is a little bit different from others in that there are so many different stakeholders that are talking to one another. And insofar as we are concerned, all the due diligence, the necessary due diligence was performed such that these three requests were approved. And we also took the enhanced step, keep the administration across the street, the county executive's office informed and involved at every step. So we're doing our very best to make sure that everything is above board for the Li-Cycle project.
Brian, get back to you, Troy.
Well, so I guess what I'm hearing is what's been happening in the past with me being involved with Brian is no longer gonna happen going forward? Is
No,
that-
that's not what I'm saying. We want to keep you informed. I wasn't aware, Troy, until you brought it up in our conversation on Thursday, that you weren't aware of any. This project is unique in terms of its size and all of the various local labor stakeholders that are communicating with one another. So it could be that there was an understanding that you were informed and you were not informed, so.
Right, I mean, I'm a resource to be, for that 45 days. I'm a resource that, have we exhausted all of our resources here to say yes? And I'll always go back to the other trades and ask if there has been contact, and there was a lot of dialogue with Grant and some of the other trades, and we wanted to keep that going, especially Li-Cycle coming out of the gate right now. There's over 65 out-of-state workers. And if we were to put that up to local workers, I'm just saying on the third one, the third project, the third phase, if we're on a trend right now of being lopsided, you know, we use 70% at Amazon, we're not even gonna be hitting like we anticipated that 45 to 50% that we were worried about with Amazon. If we're gonna continue with this waiver process with Li-Cycle, we might not make some good numbers, positive numbers.
Understood. And
yeah.
Li-Cycle has communicated directly with us that they would much prefer that everyone on site be local, so that they're not having to pay the ancillary expenses, you know, putting them up in hotels, et cetera. This is the first project that's been subject to our requirement for all bids to go up on the plan room. So that, I think, that's a good example of how this project sets itself apart from past projects in terms of the information being broadly disseminated and out there and available. And the bids, the Li-Cycle has reported that they're just not getting bids from local crews.
But we're also seeing now Li-Cycle is behind schedule, and some of the bids they weren't getting were because of the timing. You need to bid this, it's gonna start date at this time, are you gonna have local labor available? And at that time, when that question came out, the answer was no. Now Li-Cycle is behind schedule, that might be time for us to reevaluate and give another opportunity to recircle back, right? So I know some of the willing not to bid was because of the timing and schedule. Now that summer's gone, we're into the fall months, that has changed. And we don't have that crystal ball to know how to predict that. But that was one of the reasons local contractors weren't bidding, was the schedule and the timing. And now that the start dates have been pushed back, it's obviously changed the complexity of how we're gonna be looking at bid and stuff.
And our policies don't dictate
Right.
the schedules.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, we can't hold developers and businesses
Right.
to those standards,
Right.
but understood. It's an ambitious project, an ambitious time frame, and what we are across the board experiencing right now is that many such projects are delayed due to a tighter labor market, supply chain challenges, et cetera.
The whole deal. Thanks.
Any other comments on that? All right, thank you, Anna. All right, Greg, our financial report.
Okay, thank you, good afternoon. Financials through October 31st, 2022. Cash continues to remain strong, a little over 11 million, including restricted cash through October. Our averages over the last 4 years has been about 8 million. Obviously, with the robust activity, that has increased that amount. Our cash represents about 91% of our total assets, which indicates strong liquidity on our end. Of that cash balance, that restricted cash that is allocated toward that workforce modernization plan, we're at about 2.872 million at this point, which represents 10% of the fee revenue generated this year, plus the 2.5 million that was allocated that to start the program. Of that 2.8, we have committed about 900,000 of funds to that program to date. And I know there's some, additional conversations about increasing that as time goes on, but just so you have that as some perspective. And again, net assets as a total, net assets has increased about 31% from the beginning of this year and about 65% over where we were January 1st of 2021. Again, mostly due to the fact that the obviously strong activity and maintaining our expenses. Really on the P&L side, you'll see, compared to budget, compared to prior year, we're doing, again, nothing has changed. We're still moving pretty fast. Really, just the program and community development expenses, the only one that was a little bit different to what we had planned, and that's basically due to the fact that, based on the robust activity and the funds that we have, we're committing to put more programs together, this year. addition, you know, we have committed, the programs that have been committed from last fall to this year for over the last 12 months is about $5.8 million. So again, appreciate everyone's support of doing that. You know, again, we're generating that fee revenue, but I just, so everyone understands, you know, we're putting a lot of that back into the workforce modernization plan, the Empower, the MCC programs. You know, those are the big ones there. So overall, again, 10 months in, very strong financial performance, and I'm looking for a strong last 2 months as well.
Are any of the workforce development funds flowing through the program and community development?
Yeah, just the first one, the YAM TAP hit
Okay.
last month of about
Okay.
$100,000.
Okay,
We had projected, you know, a few $100,000 this year, and then most of that next year. Where that's gonna fall, that 900 is gonna fall mostly into next year. It's kind of just hard to predict on the activity that they're
timing,
gonna have, the
right.
timing of it.
Mhm.
But again, a little bit that's gonna happen in this last quarter.
okay, thank you. Any questions? Well, I would just comment, it has been a banner year. We're well over where we thought we'd be from a budget standpoint and from the prior year. You know, so it's been a very productive year and certainly is showing up in our overall financial performance. Any questions for Greg? Thank you very much. Okay. Let's see, so now we will go into the applications. Anna, the first one is Ruvix Corporation.
Thank you, and yes, Vuzix Corporation is proposing to expand into an adjacent building in the town of Henrietta. Vuzix designs, manufactures, and markets wearable computing devices and reality wearable display devices. Vuzix plans to purchase 2 new production lines to make waveguides, which are a key component in the manufacturing of their smart glasses. Phase 2 of the project will include an additional 3 production lines and an additional expansion within the next few years. This is a $4.3 million project projected to create 24 new FTEs over the next 3 years. The applicant is seeking approval of sales tax exemptions only, and the benefit to incentive ratio is 68-1.
Thank you, Anna. We have Paul Travers with us, President and CEO. Welcome.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like to elaborate on?
I mean, I can just give you a little bit of history about Vuzix just really quickly. I mean, we've been in Henrietta for 25 years now. We started with just a handful of people. In the last 5 years, we've grown to almost 100 and some odd around the world today. Our products are used by the defense markets. They're used in operating theaters every day of the week. There's some in Ukraine in operating theaters. And these waveguides literally are the lenses that fit in the front of the glasses, and they're getting to be so small they look like a regular pair of glasses, but this is a computer, believe it or not. This technology is going to be the replacement for your phone, and we're doing it right here. Yes, I know, it's pretty amazing. You put them on and the stuff appears in front of you like it's right there. And we're working with some of the largest electronic companies on the planet, the brands that you guys probably know. In fact, you mentioned one today. Anyway, our capacity, it needs to be increased to meet some of the demand that we're seeing, and we hope ultimately to take that entire facility before it's all said and done.
You're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, thank you.
Responding to the needs of the marketplace and giving us development opportunities for growing your workforce and introducing newer technologies more broadly.
Thanks. We do some pretty cool stuff, and it's my whole crew. It's a great team of folks. Couldn't pick a better place to do it, frankly.
Good. Any questions from the board? All right. There was a public hearing on November 14th.
No public comment.
No comments. I'll ask you some local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
Yes,
Do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at this time?
I don't believe so, right?
No, not that I was
Yeah.
aware of.
Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes.
Okay, great. The seeker process is complete, and we'll now move forward with the reading of the resolution.
Move to waive the reading of the resolution.
Okay, there's
Set subsequent resolutions.
been moved and seconded to waive the reading of the resolution. We all have it in our packets. Any additional comments on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, I'll now ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption, and I'll take a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Lisa?
I have to abstain.
Abstention, okay. Troy?
Yay.
Joe is absent. Rhett?
Yay.
Norman?
Yay.
And Ann is a yay. Motion carries. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the great success.
Good luck to you.
Much appreciated, everybody.
The next application is IDEX Health and Science LLC. Anna?
IDEX Health and Science LLC is proposing to expand by constructing a new 10,000 square foot clean room at its current location in the town of Henrietta and purchase equipment. IDEX was approved for a sales tax exemption on furniture, fixtures, and wiring in August of 2017 when the facility was originally built. IDEX leases the facility from 1180 John Street LLC, which was approved for a real property tax abatement at the time of construction. IDEX is a photonics manufacturer providing life science and medical device, semiconductors, industrial automation, and machine vision technologies. The $9 million project is projected to create 57 new FTEs over the next 3 years. The applicant is seeking approval of sales tax exemptions only, and the benefit to incentive ratio on this project is 117 to 1.
Pretty good ratio, let me say. All right, we have John Sawicki.
Sawicki, yep,
Sawicki?
correct.
Finance Director, Life Science Optics, and David Fulvio, and from Barclay Damon?
Yes.
Okay, good. Would you like to tell us more about
Sure,
the
yeah, happy
project?
to. So good afternoon, and thank you for your time today. Background, right, as noted there, right, we actually just built this facility in 2017, right? And the great news is we're running out of space, right? And it started with the combination of local businesses, Semrock Optical Filters and Mel's Griot plant that was also down the road, and bringing those technologies in together into this center of excellence. And it's really the center of excellence for IDEX, which is a much broader and bigger, $3 billion corporation. We're probably their largest single site, from a total dollar perspective. When we built it out, we thought we had enough clean room space. We had about 10,000 square feet. We've experienced double-digit growth over the last 3 years and expect to do so the same over the next 3 years. And that has created quite the quandary for us because we said, hey, we need clean room space to do more filters, more optical systems, and in a safe space. In the past year alone, just for reference, right, we've already added 100 jobs to our workforce. The direct labor here has been rich for us, and I think everybody's been facing that labor shortage and challenge. We've done a great job, though, of recruiting on our team and bringing what is really a highly skilled direct labor workforce. This is I would say advanced tinker toys that I couldn't put together myself, but very appreciative to the labor locally that can do that. So with that, the intent, right, is to push forward with the project and try to have it complete by the end of 2023, if all goes well. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for being here. So IDEX has manufacturing operations in more than 20 countries. And are we your largest installation?
By revenue, we're pretty close out
I
of all the
Mhm.
manufacturing plants. Top 5, for sure.
And you're serving a lot of different industries.
We are. I mean, it's primarily in life sciences. Many of our filters, right, can be used in anything that is optical in nature, right? Whether you're looking at a microscope, a telescope, they'll be used in some of our subsystems that are actually used in DNA sequencing, which is really used to rapidly reduce the amount of test cost, right? It used to cost you $1 million to do a test. now with the technological advancements, including these filters, right, bringing it down to a more manageable health cost basis. So it's largely in the life sciences space, and that's where most of the growth is.
Great. Do you have anything you want to add, David?
Yeah, just that, the board's or the IDA's determination here today is critical in determining whether this project actually goes forward. And it's also worth noting that if an approval is granted, we would like to have it go into effect as soon as possible. So we certainly look to coordinate with IDA's legal counsel to get those paperwork finalized.
Does anyone have any connection with IDA's
I don't
legal?
know her.
No, I don't.
She's right here.
Okay, she's right here.
We're gonna take
Questions?
Welcome back. When are you hoping to have this facility open? I know it's pending approval, but what's your ideal timeframe?
Yeah, so ideally, the complete construction of the expanded the clean room space. So again, it's within our current walls. We're basically repurposing a warehouse space that's, I'll say, kind of like the attic right now. We figured out a way to basically move our inventory storage vertical, and so it's just like you're trying to clean your house up, and get that space ready to expand for clean room. So if all goes well, it's estimated that it'll take 12 to 18 months to get the project done. As we've said, supply chain concerns, labor constraints, material availability, right, will all play a factor. But I can tell you from a manufacturing perspective, I need it like yesterday, right? So we're already at capacity, and every day is a slog to kind of get through it.
Okay, other questions? All right. There was a public hearing on November 14th. Any comments?
No comments.
Okay. I'll ask you some local labor questions. Are you aware of our local labor policy?
I am.
And do you anticipate any local labor exemptions at
We do
this
not.
time?
Nope.
Are you aware that any exemptions need to be requested 45 days in advance?
Yes.
Seeker process is complete. We have waived the reading of the resolution, so I'll now ask for a motion for inducement and final resolution approving a sales tax exemption. And this will be a roll call vote. Jay?
Yes.
Lisa?
I need to abstain.
Okay. Troy?
Yay.
Joe is absent. Rhett?
Yay.
Norman?
Yay.
And Ann is a yay. Motion carries.
Was there a second on the motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. Now there is.
Thank you. Well, why are you here? All right, so, we have the motion carried. Thank you very much. And
Thank you very much.
continued
Appreciate it.
Success to you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, now we have a bunch of project modifications, and the first one is Erie Station LLC.
Erie Station 30 LLC, a West Henrietta-based real estate development company, built out part of its existing warehouse space located in the town of Henrietta. Benefits were originally approved in February of 2017 for a real property tax abatement, sales tax, and mortgage recording tax exemptions to accommodate Rolex Jinshin Corporation, which vacated in August of 2020. The applicant is seeking approval for a new tenant, Vuzix Corporation, to occupy 12,000 square feet. The new tenant plans to occupy the space by October of 2022 and add 24 FTEs due to the expansion.
Thank you, Anna.
Hi.
We have
I'm
someone
Gary
who'd
Izzo,
like to speak. Yeah.
I'm Gary Izzo, I'm the finance director with Konar Properties, and we own Erie Station 30 LLC as part of the original application. The tenant is Vuzix, which was just presented earlier for the new approval. I think they're, I heard October 2022 in there. I think they were just, that might have just been delayed a little bit until, until these meetings are finalized.
Okay, great.
I think that was the original intention, but they were
Sure.
never updated
Yeah.
after that.
Any questions?
So are these new benefits, or are they
No, it's
taking
a-
over the old benefits?
They're taking over the property tax abatement benefit. The benefits they're getting are new because it's all new. And it's really, it's not on improvements, in as much as it's on equipment and everything that they're having installed.
Okay,
It's not, there's not, on our behalf, there was not leasehold improvements or anything like that that were being done. It's, I think, painting, might have been painting and something else. There might be something with the HVAC, which was new, or the, something with electrical that was new to be able to handle the equipment, was the only significant update or change that we were making at this time to the building.
okay.
So they are adjacent to the building right now, and Erie Station 25, in the whole building. They started out there, expanded into the rest of that building, and now are expanding into the space that was available. And possibly may take the whole, end up expanding further into that building also and have both buildings.
Great, thank you very much. Any other questions on this? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve a sublease to a new tenant at the facility.
So
Moved by Rhett.
Second.
It's gonna quite brag, I don't know why. Seconded by Jay. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I need to abstain.
Another abstention, all right. Not a good day for you.
No.
Okay, great.
All these Henrietta projects.
Are these Henrietta
Good thing for Henrietta.
projects?
It's a good day for
All right.
Henrietta, that's right.
Should
So-
have traded with Joe.
Hit the trifecta today, Lisa.
I know. That's what I said. Henrietta Day.
Yes.
So, the governance committee met just prior to the board meeting, and I'm going to, introduce Jay Popey, who's our vice chair and chair of the governance committee, and to give us a report on what transpired this morning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We did meet, the governance committee met at 11 to review our local labor policies. We had a very robust discussion on a topic of warranty and specialty construction. And while we made no formal changes to our policy, we had some, I think, some very good ideas that were presented. And we have some tangible next steps and plan to meet again in December to continue that conversation. I would expect in the next month or two, we will have some recommended changes to our policies.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Jay? All right, thank you. So no action needed today,
None at this
but
time.
good
Thank you.
discussion on the whole issue
Correct.
of warranties and specialty construction and so forth. Okay, so we now move on to Anna's update on the Monroe Community College Optics Program proposal. And I'll let you introduce our guest.
Thank you, Anne. I'm very pleased today to have with us Dr. Robin Cole, Vice President of Economic Development, Workforce, and Career Technical Education at Monroe Community College, as well as Dr. Alexis Vogt, who is the chair of the optics program. This board is all well aware of the prowess of Greater Rochester's Optics, Photonics, and Imaging Cluster. In fact, all three of our projects today, the two new projects and the modification, were tied to optics, growth in the optics and photonics cluster in Rochester. Our workforce needs in that sector continue to grow, and MCC's optics program is really singular in that space. Dr. Vogt can talk about this, but I know that there are companies from all around the world that recruit from our optics program at MCC. We want to see all of those technicians that are trained at MCC in optics stay here. That's why we are entertaining this request today for $500,000 to support the growth of the optics program at MCC. The application to our Workforce Development Fund can be found on page 61. And without further ado, I would love to introduce Dr. Vogt and Dr. Cole from MCC. Thank you.
Glad to be. You know, while they get that pulled up, I just want to say, thank you, and an honor to be here in front of the board. And really, when, what you were mentioning is what I thought about as I sat there. 2 projects that you just approved are directly related to optics and precision optics industry.
We did that intentionally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good lead into. And when you talk about, the ecosystem, how that is supported, that's exactly what our program does. And we have here just some. Dr. Vogt is going to share and present, and I guess if we don't have it, you can pull it up on the screen. I guess you can just walk through, but just talk about how we support that. We want to continue to have not only those professionals stay here in the region, but continue to build their capacity as we continue to grow.
Robin's handing out copies.
Okay, excellent. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, let me see. I have just had a 1-minute video to show as an introduction. Maybe I can even just play it off my computer.
The optics industry is responsible for remarkable innovations which revolutionize our world. Smartphones, cameras, virtual reality, night vision goggles, solar panels, lasers, and autonomous vehicles. There are over 120 optics companies just in the Finger Lakes region, creating more than 550 new optical systems tech jobs every year. Many of our students have jobs waiting for them upon completion of their program. MCC is the only community college in the world where you can earn an associate degree in precision optics. We teach optics, photonics, lasers, and more, all on state-of-the-art equipment, making our students ready for real-world job opportunities. Go to www.monroecc.edu/go/optics to start a conversation about our great program. Enjoy the industry that's inventing our future.
Thanks for bearing with the technical challenges on this end. We really do appreciate the opportunity to be here. And Anna, thank you for that nice introduction. The timing was perfect. In fact, I left working for IDEX and to run the MCC optics program because when I was working in optics, we had a severe shortage of optics technicians that was inhibiting our ability to grow. And so what we're doing now at MCC is running the state-of-the-art program. The ask today, as you have in the slides in front of you, is for $500,000. This is part of our grand plan to develop a center of optics to be not only the world leaders, but in the Rochester region, but around the entire world as well. And this will enable us to increase our number of students who are coming into the program. We are recruiting both high school students as well as people who are changing careers, older adults, people who are coming back for different careers after they've been in the workforce for a while, as well as underemployed and unemployed individuals. You see on the slide the number of partners that we already have. We plan to continue to leverage those partnerships with not only the optics companies that you see listed, but also organizations like BMTAP, RMSC, the Rochester Museum and Science Center, Rochester Works, the Education Success Foundation, Black Men Achieve, as well as others. And so we are looking to fund faculty and staff. We've increased, as you see on the chart that's provided there, the enrollment in the program significantly. We need the staff and the faculty to support the growth there as well. And on this slide, you also see the breakdown where the funding would go and towards students to support them, a very critical part of their success. So things including stipends, tutoring, coaching, transportation, childcare, books, etc., as well as equipment and contract management and outreach efforts, which are critical to the success of the program and driving more students in.
And supporting the county, we talk about local workforce and economic development. We all know within the community college, over 90% of the individuals stay within the region. And that's what we want to support, the local region, local companies, and build upon. I've been here 4 months, but this is a lot of the foundation you guys are really leading when you talk about the region and the country and the world. We're talking about optics.
Questions on the board? You should be congratulated for such a tremendous growth program, actually, with all these partners, to be very responsive to the needs for optical engineers and technicians and the development of the skills of those folks to handle that.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just a question. Your connection with the local high schools, East High School?
Yes, we have 16 high schools in the area that are teaching my introduction to optics class
right now. So these are high school students who are taking the MCC Intro to Optics class, receiving credit for it, and then many of whom are coming to join our program as well. So we're actively looking to grow the number, but there are 16 high schools currently. Thank you for the question.
Anything else, Anna?
I just-
Oh, Troy?
Doing the math on the second page, we got $25,000 in there. You have listed 475,000 to where the money's gonna go. Obviously, the equipment and the student material might be where that extra 25 is gonna be.
I know in the proposal it equaled out to
I
$500,000.
think that adds to 500.
Is it?
I was double checking
Did I
those
screw
numbers
up?
last night.
Do I gotta try to do it again?
I got 82 in the student supports, 133 in the other, which is 215, 215 in the 285, gets you to 5.
Where did you say 82 what?
82 on the student support section, and 133 in the other section, which gets to 215, and then that plus the 285 is the 5.
Thank you, Greg.
Numbers guy for you.
I was gonna say, I'm
Right.
pretty good at math,
Fight
that's
the
why I'm a little worried there.
Finances, that's right. Okay, any other questions?
So the math people, you know, me, I'm not a math person. So I would report out the calculator as well.
It's all on target.
How much money are you hoping to raise for this program in addition to your ask here?
Well, we
And for
have-
what other purposes,
So.
other
you
than
know,
to grow, other than to grow the program?
So right now, we're talking about just other investments. You know, the county's already, we're developing a new ATC building, and we're already getting specifically 10 million from the county, and then we'll get another 10 million we're gonna match from SUNY as well, and that's to expand as well the optics program. We're talking about the Center of Excellence we're trying to develop. We're right now with a model, we're the first associate degree program within the country for optics. AmeriCom is, you know, trying to take that model and duplicate it, but we want to build upon that model. Being a Center of Excellence, not only with workforce development, but also collaboration, where we talk about other community colleges. We have individuals that are out of state, that they take our online programming, and then they come on campus and do the actual applied knowledge as well. So that's some of the funding that we have. We also have the Department of Defense, how much grant funding?
Yeah,
do
we have a $4.4 million grant from the Office of Naval Research from the Department of Defense that has been funding the program for the last 3 years.
So, and then we're also looking at some other, grant opportunities in NSF, the optics, I guess identifier that was at Indian Rivers State College
Yep.
down in Florida. It opens up this summer, so we're hoping now for us to get that identification as well and funding with that. So that's something just to continue to support and continue just to build a greater, picture and, just greater eyes upon our program that have already been there. Alexa has done a great job throughout the country with just the reputation that we have at NCC and with her program.
Great, thank you. So the request is for $500,000 for year one. And when does the year start? Now?
Yeah, year one will start now. I don't know exactly when the funds are open up. It's my first committee meeting.
With
Being
board
new to the region.
approval, we'll work on a contract with MCC, and the contract will commence
2023.
2023. Yeah.
Do you need a motion?
Pardon?
Do you need a motion?
I do.
One other question. What is the biggest hindrance to going larger than 150? I mean, what I'm hearing is that, most of the students, if not all the students, are basically employed before they leave. What is if you doubled it, would that still be the case? Do you have a sense of that? Are we thinking big enough here?
Well, 500, I believe, is what the number that industry is.
We need 550 students to graduate every single year. So
Correct.
the program had 5 students in it total 7 years ago.
Mhm.
There's a huge opportunity. I mean, if we think really big, there's a tremendous need. So 550, we need to graduate every single year.
So one hindrance when you talk about the new ATC and the new footprint.
Yeah, so
within the
what's
building,
what's keep?
That's one capacity is space. That's what we're, continue to grow the space, and then also the faculty needed in
Yep.
order to teach and increase the capacity there as well. Also, Alexis is developing micro-credentialing program as well to get individuals out into the field faster. So those are just some of the hindrances. The biggest thing, I think, is faculty and then increasing space. And we're looking to increase that footprint now with the plan with the new ATC, and then with some of the funding that here with Comida, increasing the faculty number.
And is the thought that if, you know, if you are able to increase to 150, we're funding 2 faculty and 1 staff, would this be a continued request, or would the program then be at least a portion of it be self-funding? You know, I understand that student support may need to come back, and I'm a big proponent of making sure that we reduce barriers for students to complete their degrees. But, you know, the biggest chunk is the faculty, so just, you know.
So we know with faculty, what funds faculty, because we're talking about enrollment, so we've increased enrollment, that'll increase the faculty number. Right now, we're putting together a plan that I know the inflection point of, you know, when we get to 25, 30 students, as you've seen the projected,
There's a little
we've
bit of a
grown.
chicken and egg
Yeah.
situation here,
So
I
if we
understand
continue to
that.
grow
I understand
a certain number of students, then that'll fund the position. So what I'm looking at in my plans to be, you know, I would say all the faculty that we have, there's some of their own grant within 5-year plan for all of them that can be funded just through hopefully enrollment. And we'll always take, you know, continued support with funding, but hopefully that money, like I said, it won't go so much towards faculty, it go more towards the equipment, the expansion, recruiting, you know, this, those different sort of things.
The greater programs become self-sufficient,
Correct.
the better it is, then we can
That's
spread
why a
it
lot of times we
around.
start programs on the non-credit side, and then once they sustain, then we move it over
Yeah.
to the credit side, because we know that's a lot based on enrollment.
So that's your,
Exactly.
okay, thank you.
20 years of higher ed, that's always the,
Yeah.
that's always the way you roll.
Doesn't have to be higher ed, it's.
Yeah, well, anything.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve the execution and delivery of a contract with Monroe Community College optics program in the amount of not to exceed $500,000 for year 1. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Rhett, seconded by Norm. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So,
Thank
Thank you.
congratulations.
Good luck.
to you.
And you two are a good team, you need to stick together wherever you go.
Thank you.
Okay, no action needed on the dashboard, right?
No, I hope that board members had an opportunity to review the dashboard. We're, on track. We're in a good financial position, as Greg mentioned, and the dashboard will be updated in December to reflect this, commitment to MCC's optics program tied to our workforce development fund.
Any other items for the meeting? All right, next meeting is December 20, 2022 at noon, and it's here, right? And we have a full program on all kinds of good things. So, and it's our annual meeting too.
No. Oh,
No.
excuse me, no.
No.
But we will be celebrating a 50th year in existence.
That's right. That's a huge celebration. 50 years. Okay. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting then.
Moved.
Second.
And seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.